I'm Matt Stites. This is my wife, Brittany, and we are co-chairs for this year's Tree of Life Gala.
The loss of Nick was really my family and I's first experience with community grief and deep family grief. My sister and I hadn't lost any members of our family at that time, and with his passing, we really saw a family we loved walking through grief, and our parents and our family, we miss Nick. And it was just a really transformative time. My sister and I can remember details of his service, and it really made an impact on us as we grew older. Fast forward to in 2021, Matt and I lost our son, Logan, in utero, and Susan was one of the first people I reached out to during that time. As someone who was walking through loss and had walked through loss, I'd watched her and seeing how she had grown, both in her faith and through counseling service, been able to, keep the family together during that time. And I was really lost and alone. I felt like no one could relate to what we were going through. And so it was really neat to be able to lean on Susan during that time.
I'm Elizabeth Elder, the founder and executive director of Magnolia Moms. I have 3 beautiful children, Annabelle, Blair, and Clark. And Annabelle and Blair were born with a very rare genetic mitochondrial condition. And Annabelle actually passed away from complications of Lee syndrome 2.5 years ago. So she's our angel looking down on us. And then our son Blair is doing great. He is thriving, albeit definitely facing the daily challenges of his condition. He is in a wheelchair and dependent on mobility and assistance with feeding and all of that. And then our youngest, Clark, is neurotypical, and he is just a healthy little boy doing all the sports. He was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes just over a year ago, and so we are navigating that as well. So motherhood has looked a little bit different than what I had in mind. But I have gotten to a point where I really understand and believe that it's all for a good reason, because I've learned that you can do a lot of good with the challenges that are brought to you in life.
I think one of the more challenging, or probably the most challenging thing that we went through with Logan is just the element of you have your rocks and your people and your friends and your family that you typically lean on in difficult situations. But when you have a situation like ourselves with Logan and the loss of Logan, it just becomes more isolating, because you cannot, your friends and your family that you typically lean on don't have that same shared experience. And so you just have this feeling of isolation during that time frame, and it's hard to have that typical connection that you would normally have in those situations. And so I think was probably the most challenging thing for us as a family and as a couple to go through during that period of time.
I founded Magnolia Moms 8 years ago when my daughter Annabelle and son Blair were 4 and 3 respectively. Despite having a wonderful support network of my family and my friends here locally, because I was born and raised in Houston, I did not have a single friend who understood the challenges of raising a child with special needs. And so I started this group really just to find community and to find friends that I could connect with and understand, and who they could understand me.
I had the privilege of going to Magnolia Moms to present their Darkness to Light series. So we started off with anger and coping skills, and then we moved towards how to love yourself and show up authentically for your kids. It was such a privilege to be able to show up for them.
Had the opportunity to watch both of Heather's talks for Magnolia Moms, and I can say I was blown away at how many times I saw the heads nodding. You could tell that there was such shared experience in the room, and people felt seen and supported by Heather. And I think that is one of the unique ways that we are supporting the community, is that we are connecting with them and tailoring these talks to that group so that we can best support them.
I was invited to sit in on a talk by our outreach counselor, Anna Crane, regarding stress. It was an amazing talk, And I thought to myself, well, I manage 40 young people who deal with all different kind of stress, so different than the stress we probably deal with. They have social media, they have the rigors of their job, and just the world itself has changed so much that the stress they experience is very different than the stress we have. So I thought to myself, wow, this might be a great talk for my guys at the bank. So Anna came and spoke to them, and amazingly, she was able to tweak and pivot her speech to really be more relevant to that group. And it was shortly, or not too long after she spoke, that several of the analysts lost a good friend to suicide. And I feel like the introduction of Anna's talks and NFCC gave them the courage to seek out therapy to deal with their grief. So many young people, especially males, aren't open to that because they feel like there's a stigma involved. And I think that outreach is helping people to get past that stigma of therapy, and it makes me weak. If anything, it makes you stronger.
What I love the most about our outreach program is how many people we are impacting in the community. We're serving so many people with our on-site counseling services, but being able to take the programs outside of our walls, knowing that we are having a greater impact on the community, is the best feeling.
It's so amazing to be able to serve people on site as a counselor and then go out into the community to schools and see people, and afterwards they'll say, hey, I've been doing that brain dump thing that I learned in the talk, and it's been so helpful for me and my family.
I'm particularly grateful for my involvement with the NFCC. I find myself looking at it through the lens of a school leader. And the fundamental thing that's important in schools is children feeling psychological safety. Is this a safe place? Can I relax? Can I learn? And can I grow? And when you're able to put resources in the school that help them to achieve that, then learning is just going to work better. And so if there's something I wish I could do more of, is to help other school leaders see the opportunity to support and reinforce their own counseling resources within their school, and to tap into organizations like the NFCC to help them get that done.
I deeply believe in our outreach programs and see the impact that they're having on our community. But more importantly, I deeply believe in the counselors who are the ones out in the community offering these services.
And I think that because you support us so well and deeply believe in outreach, we are able to serve Houston in the right way. We are not just like kind of trying everything. We are figuring out problems and we are solving those problems. We're not just there to make an impact, we are making the right impact and serving people the way that they need to be served and loved and cared for.
In my opinion, I think counseling is why we're still together today.
Yeah.
It's something that I wasn't necessarily hesitant about at first, but I didn't realize how valuable it was to our marriage. It's tough for men to sit in a counseling center and talk about their feelings and their emotions, and I think I realized the value of that through our journey the last 2 years, and it's something that has just reestablished our bond together, understanding her perspective, my perspective through this grief and through this loss.
When we found out that the Nick Finnegan Counseling Center had a partnership already with Steel Magnolias, we were so relieved that this group of parents in our community was being met with the counseling center's resources and support and guidance.
And the reality is, we could not do it on our own. As strong as we are, and I say we're strong as steel, we need professional help. And that is why supporting the moms' mental health is so important. It allowed moms to be vulnerable. It encouraged moms to kind of see the light, which is what we were trying to do. And it allowed moms to, in a safe place, be able to hear from one another and just be validated that they're not alone and that there are resources, there are experts and professionals that are able to address these very real mental health issues. It has just been really wonderful to watch how two local organizations are able to partner and support each other and make a positive impact on each other's respective communities.